You're listening to the Last Man In podcast. Covering Winnipeg hockey and the NHL.
Scheifele dances his way in. Scheifele scores! Mike Wheeler finds the far corner. And the Winnipeg Jets win it in overtime.
Welcome back, Last Man In podcast, episode 170. I make my long-awaited return. However, something that's been longer and more awaited, the Matt Duchene trade. It finally happened. So we got to talk about that this week, along with a Jets team that seems to be surging towards the top of the league with guys on hot streaks. However, is it all rainbows at the top of that streak, or is there some negatives that I can find as well?
I wish my streaks had rainbows.
Yes.
I don't.
No.
We all want rainbows.
Because I think a realistic view needs to be placed on the Jets, and I think that there is some good, but we have to talk about other stuff as well. And then other than that, around the league, I don't have much else because I haven't paid much attention. I've been sulking in my room. I fractured my hand. I basically cry myself to sleep every night.
We'll catch you up to speed.
Yeah, we've missed a few things that I wanted. I missed a few things
We'll
last
catch ya.
week I want to ask you guys questions about. It's going to be great.
Fun fact, the Jets are ahead of the Flyers and the Leafs. So
You're the second Jets fan to tell me that
Why
today.
does it matter?
Today.
I'm just saying.
The replacement was the other one.
I have to get it
Today.
in now while they're still up there.
Well,
'Cause
let's
it
be
could go-
honest.
Take a screenshot of who's
they're gonna
third
be-
in the
In
league
case
in
it goes
points.
south. I
They're
don't think
gonna
it's
be-
going to go south, but in case it goes south.
They're going to be higher than the Flyers all season. I don't know what you're talking about, Dan. Not necessarily the
Flyers
Leafs.
are in the toughest division in
After
all
the
hockey,
first two
and
games,
they're gonna upset someone in the first round. I said
They're not making the playoffs.
They're making the playoffs and they're going to the second round. I said that at the start. Oh, I
Philly
guess
looks not
you
bad.
guys were haters. You guys are hashtag haters.
Cup of
When you
haters?
were laughing, cup of haters, when you were laughing at me saying Stamkos was going to be leading in points and Kucherov was leading in goals. You laughed at me, and guess who's right now?
Hey.
Me, I'm right.
Guess who picked Kucherov to win the Rocket this year? This
I
guy.
did.
No, this guy.
So I did too. Get out of here.
Whatever.
I didn't.
You were backpacking. I went before
Didn't
him.
I go
You did.
He's
Ovechkin?
backpacking.
No
Didn't
way.
I
I have the piece of paper.
Get out of here.
I have this paper I wrote months ago. Months upon months. Let's see what I wrote here. Hold on. This is great. Rocket Kucherov. Ross Stamkos. Read them and weep. Read it. Read it out loud. Don't
Wait,
rip it.
wait,
you're
no,
gonna
no,
rip
no,
it.
no, I'm not gonna rip it.
You
I
look
just-
from afar.
No, can I just touch the paper?
Yeah.
Weird, the ink's still wet.
Oh, shut up. Look at all this
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, it must be tough to
I've
write
been carrying this
I watched you
forever.
write that in my car on the way here.
No, you
liar!
You're-
Liar!
Okay. What are we getting into first?
What do we want to talk about?
Let's talk about the Jets.
The hottest team in the NHL.
Are they actually right now?
They're 8-1-2 since their first two games.
Well, about
Or
time.
8-1-3.
They got to make up for all those losses
got-
they gave up last year.
They've got points in
Wins.
11 of the 12 games since those first two games when they got blown out.
How's their goalie, Connor Hellebuck?
He is 8-0-2.
Can I say that one more time?
He is
How's
not-
their goalie? Connor Hellebuck,
He's been pretty good.
not Steve Mason.
Should I read some stats for you?
You may read those stats of Connor Hellebuck.
Tied
Go
for
ahead.
second in wins. He's got 8 wins.
8 wins, tied against Vasilevsky.
No, Vasilevsky's first. He's tied with Anderson, Allen, and
Okay,
Bobrovsky.
all right. Anderson. Who's Anderson?
Frederick Leafs.
Oh wow.
He's fourth. His goals against is 2.12. That's fourth, and his save percentage is a 936. That's third.
Who's ahead of him?
Crawford and Quick. Crawford's rocking a 945 right now.
Oh, oh.
He's also
Oh my
rocking
God.
he's also rocking a 1.77 goals against average. But he also
And that team is still losing.
he has 2 shutouts though.
They're
so,
still losing.
Yep.
Yeah, spicy meatball. 945 save percentage.
Yep.
Wow.
Crazy.
Damn.
Talk about unsustainable.
Yes.
And that's going to be the definition of today's podcast. Unsustainability.
There's a lot of unsustainable things going on in the NHL right now.
How about Blake
my-
Wheeler's 14 points in the last 5 games?
He's got 21 points in 14 games. Quietly, he's third place in the league in scoring.
But, like,
Scary.
the thing that I wonder is there seems to be a lot of people that are above, like a lot of players above a point a game right now, which is great for the NHL. And we need to see more 100-point players. We can't just have one.
You figure it's going to come down.
I hope that the trend stays.
Oh, I hope so.
It's been fantastic.
Sad, the scary thing is the top 2 guys in the league right now are Stamkos and Kucherov.
I know.
Stamkos has got 25, Kucherov's got 23, and then Wheeler's got 21.
I forgot to tease this. Hot Takes for Hot Cakes comes back later in the show.
With a side sizzler.
With a side sizzler.
Which is when Dan just interrupts. I'm just kidding.
No,
I will.
It's probably going to happen. Yeah, so Wheeler's got, I think he has 6 multi-point games this year, and he's got 2 4-point games this year already.
And has a hat trick.
Why are you hiding? I wanted to look at the stats. I was leaning in to look.
So remember how long it took the Jets to get a hat trick? In their last 3 years, they have something like 8 or
They have
9.
3 this year already.
Yeah. Like, they have a lot.
Well, okay, Shife's got one for sure.
Shife's, Wheeler's, and Wheeler already have this year.
Yeah.
Lyman got 3 last year.
I think the Flyers only get a hat trick once every 8 years, so.
Do they have a player that scores 4 goals in his first NHL game? No, they don't.
They do not.
They don't.
The Flyers? I bet somewhere in the history they do, and it's like the weirdest name ever. I hope not. No, they wouldn't.
No, nobody's ever scored 4 goals in the first game, have they? Aside
No.
from Matthews?
I
No,
don't think
it was just Matthews.
Oh.
No, it was Matthews and I think one other.
Guillaume Brisebois, classic. 71
yeah,
Canadians.
that
You
guy.
remember that guy?
Love that
Yeah,
guy.
no, it was,
He's
it was
awesome.
probably a Canadians player
He's
from like
awesome.
the 30s. Oh, well, half these guys got forced to go to war, so this is what we're left
And we're
with.
playing the local high school team.
So
They're
what do
filling
we-
in for the Bruins who missed their train.
So what do we think about the Jets? They're 8-3-3 after 14 games.
Okay, you
They-
talk first because you're going to have a biased opinion.
They're 8-3-3. They're 4th in the West. They're also tied for 4th in the league. I think they're 2nd in the Central right now.
Wait,
Yeah.
say that again.
They're tied for 4th in the league, but yet they're 4th in the West.
Yeah,
Probably because there's other teams tied there as well.
yeah. St. Louis, LA, Vegas, and Winnipeg. Vegas and Winnipeg are actually tied for.
Who do
3rd.
they play in playoffs today?
They're in 2nd, so they would.
Third wild card team.
They play
Dallas?
Colorado.
Colorado?
I take.
Whoa, whoa.
I take that. I take that.
What? The third place team in the Central right now is Colorado?
Yeah, they are 8-6.
We're in Bizarro land, Greg.
I saw. There's lots of things that are not sustainable.
Guys,
right
you know
now.
who's in? I think he's in top 10 scoring if you still have it up. Sean Couturier at one point.
Yeah,
was
you know
in
he's
top
up there.
10 score.
He's
He's
up
on
there.
pace for like 50 points at least.
No,
he's on
top-
pace for like 80
No, you
points.
guys, I know how Flyers work. They get really hot. Hot, sizzling. And then they get ice cold. And then they get put in the microwave. Nice and lukewarm, toasty. Ice cold again. And then really hot in the last 3 games of the year. That's it. That's all they get. He's on pace for 50. That's it.
So since they started 0-2 with those 2 horrendous games, they have gone 8-1-3 in their remaining. How many games is that? 12. So that's a pretty good stretch of 12 games.
So if they could hold on
They've
for
actually climbed into their positive goal differential. They have allowed 40, which is actually one of the lower marks in the.
how many have they scored?
It's about middle of the pack for goals against. They've got 46 goals for, which is again kind of middle. They're not necessarily scoring as
But you
much as
wanna
they
be-
were last year, but they're allowing way less.
Okay, so they
They're
have
the thing that's nice is that they seem to have grasped the whole we need to play defense thing. It's not just that they're winning; it's that they're playing well. They're not giving up a lot. They're getting great goaltending, but it's not the end all be all as to why they are where they are. It's a big part, but their defensive play is leaps and bounds been better than even the first 2 games. The first 2 games was awful, and the last 12 games it looks like they look like a dominant team when they play. They come out ready to play. They score first more often than not. Okay, Greg can argue.
No, wait, no.
But-
I have a question for Dan after.
They're giving up 2 goals a game
Well, I was
on
gonna
average,
say-
maybe less. You know, the Montreal game on the weekend, that was the one game that they've played in the stretch where they didn't look great, and they still were up 4-2 with about 8 minutes to go, and they, you should close that out. They didn't, but you should close that out. So even in the game that they were heavily outplayed, did not look like they were skating, they still had a very good chance to win the game. They ended up getting a point. So,
What?
I think they're, again, it's been 14 games. So you're starting to get into the stretch now where all those hot streaks at the start of the year, they're either fizzling out or they're becoming, this is going to be a trend for the year. They seem to definitely be trending in the right direction. And you have to keep in mind, they've had a tough schedule, too. They've played Pittsburgh twice, Columbus twice, Dallas twice, Minnesota twice, Calgary, Toronto, Edmonton, Vancouver. And Vancouver, hey, they're not doing too bad right now. Montreal's really the only weak, I guess you can go quote-unquote easy game that they've really had so far this year, and they actually lost that game. So, that's a trend that you hope they don't go into, because they haven't really had a quote-unquote easy part of their schedule. They've got, coming up, they've got Vegas, and I think they've got the Coyotes twice in a row.
Well, if you go off the goal differential
So-
you mentioned, of 40 goals that they've allowed,
Yeah.
They got 7 scored on them the first game,
And
6 the next game. If you take away I'm not trying to take them away, but if you take away those, that's 27 goals against in 12 games. That's 2.25 goals.
Very good.
That's fantastic.
Very good.
You can score more than 2 goals a game, I hope. If you're not, I think you're what team is that? Arizona Coyotes,
Yes.
I think is the name of that team.
Concerning things, their power play is either really good or really bad. They need to get some consistency there. Their second line's been, which is Little, Line A, Oilers. It hasn't been as good as you'd want it to be. Oilers started off really hot. He's kind of cooled down a bit. Line A was kind of, he scored it. He was off to a pretty good start. Then he kind of went quiet. Had that whole hockey's hard right now thing, and he's scored in every game since. So hopefully he's turning it around. He's, I expect him to go through some growing pains this year. He's second year in the league. So, but the first line's driving the bus right now, and are they going to keep up this point production all year? Probably not. But they've got two guys who can do point a game. Wheeler and Scheifele, and Kyle Connor's benefiting from being on a line with those guys. I think he's got 7 points in 9 games or something.
Kyle Connor?
Yeah. So
Dang.
yeah, I mean he's
that.
definitely benefiting. I mean Wheeler's just quietly out of nowhere, 21 points in 14 games, which is, if you extrapolate that,
That means he might make the All-Star game.
he might.
Because he'd much rather be at the All-Star game
He
than
might.
anywhere else.
He might. But I don't know. I don't know. That's just my perspective. I'm very happy with the team. I don't think it's a fluke. I think they've played well. They deserve to be winning the games they're winning.
I haven't watched many games. I watched the entire game last night, and the only thing I remember from that game is the Jamie Benn goal,
The Paul Maurice little
Paul Maurice freak out
the reaction.
after the Jamie Benn goal, and the Scheifele. I was convinced he was going to pass it, 20 seconds into the game. I'm like, oh, there's Kyle Connor wide open. Give it to him.
Snipe.
And then he just shot it, and I was like, well, that's okay. He scored.
Yeah.
Something. But other than that, all I know is they keep winning, getting points. Connor Hellebuck is doing great,
Wow.
which is fantastic.
He's doing beyond great. He's doing,
Connor Hellebuck's doing great. We'll keep it at that.
Yeah.
He's doing fantastic. No, he's doing really good.
If he
I don't think he could keep it up all year.
If he does
but
this, I mean, he's eventually going to lose in regulation, but if he can keep up this play all year and his numbers stay where they are,
No, just 2 weeks. 2 weeks. He keeps up this play for 2 more weeks. They're in the
Thanksgiving,
playoffs.
done. Yeah.
And, just go
But,
500 the
he's-
rest of the
he's
year,
been-
and you're in the playoffs.
He's been lights out. And like you said, Steve Mason, he was supposed to be the guy, right?
He is the guy.
I feel bad
Trash
for him.
guy,
but
am I right? No, I don't like Steve Mason. You know how I feel. I do feel bad about him, but hey, you know what? Now
can't
you
take
know.
Hellebuck out with the way
You
he's
know
playing.
who number one is as of right now. Number one is Hellebuck, pending any injury.
Yeah.
And Steve Mason is fully capable of coming in and playing one game every 4 games. I guess
Yep.
is the pace that they want NHL goalies to go out.
And
with
if Hellebuck
nowadays.
struggles, you've got a guy that can come in and if he has to play for a stretch.
And be the super brick wall that he is, super
Hey.
top-notch brick wall.
You
Hey,
never
he's
know.
used to playing. He's used to playing for a team where he can allow 5 goals if the team could score 6 and win the game. So
Okay. I mean,
he can do it. He can do it. He'll
can
get
do
the
it.
one stop.
the
He'll
Jets
do it.
can score. Well, I'd like
Hopefully.
to say that they can score 6, but their goal scoring, it's starting to come, but it was a little.
If they
little
play
quiet
Ben
there
Bishop
for-
every game, they're going to be great. Because Ben Bishop apparently doesn't like the Jets at all.
and apparently he can get away with whatever he wants.
Are we okay? So we're talking specifically now about the game last night against
No,
the
no,
Dallas
no.
Stars.
Game last night was fine. The game before,
What was the game before?
blocker Brendan Lemieux in the face.
Oh, and then Lemieux
Somehow
got the
Lemieux
penalty.
got a penalty.
I like that one. That was funny.
Um,
I reacted to that one because I saw the replay and I was like, goalie interference. And it's like Lemieux to the box. And I was like, what?
He didn't even-
What?
And the
What
funny
the
thing
hell?
is, he didn't even touch him. He crashed it hard and stopped. So I mean, whatever.
Yeah, and then the D got it.
And then
everyone got a hold.
the goalie interference with quotation marks where he wraps his stick around Scheifele's foot. That was a joke. How that's interference in the goal last night isn't.
I missed that one, but I'm
never know.
assuming that's why Maurice was going nuts last night.
Yeah. Well, it was the Ben goal, and there was. Let's put it this way: there was a lot more contact on that play last night than Scheifele ever made, and yet last night was a goal, and the Scheifele one, or I think Tanev scored, but Scheifele that was called back. So there's no consistency in the NHL referees right now. Which hey, whatever.
You
It
seem
is what
upset
it
by
is.
this one.
No, the
I
one
know
that,
you're upset by the refereeing though, because every time there's a
the
Jets
one that
game, you're
pissed me off
tweeting.
was the one that pissed me off was Saturday in overtime.
Which one? Which one is that, Greg?
Oh.
Greg's not talking yet. He wants to rebuttal all at once.
Jets were shorthanded, and I have no problem with the Myers penalty being a penalty. That's fine. But right before the Montreal scored, puck gets rimmed around. Buff goes to play it. It goes past him. Pacioretty picks him, knocks him down, heits him. Full-fledged interference.
Is the puck near them?
The puck went by Buff, didn't he?
No. But is the puck near them when the hit happens? Like Pacioretty hitting Buff?
The puck goes past both guys. Neither guy touches the puck.
But Buff's chasing puck.
Regardless, the way that it affected the play essentially because the
It's
puck
a
was
penalty.
leaking. The puck was leaking out, and my opinion of that goal is there was two things that were preventable there. Ref can make the right call, but Buff needs to get that puck out. It was on his stick. You're on a 4-on-3 in overtime. You need to get the puck out.
Oh, I agree.
He didn't get the puck out. It
And
caused
that's why
the
he
goal.
was chasing it.
And
No,
that's
that was after he got hit. He got hit, got back up, then tried to clear the puck and failed.
Oh, okay.
But they called the penalty. The play's dead. Never happened. So I mean, whatever. They probably didn't deserve to win that game. They didn't play very well. So,
Okay.
but the reffing is what it is. I just think the calls are wildly inconsistent. So
It's not your. I think
You
you're
wanna-
not alone on this one, whether
but
it's the Jets or
just
any other team.
It's not just the NHL; it's the NFL. So, for instance, I'm going to bring up.
NFL.
He's going to tell us about his favorite NFL
Oh,
team, the
No,
Jacksonville Jaguars.
with refs.
Hey, they're doing
Oh,
okay this
I
year.
am going to talk about Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh my God.
Can we just stop for a second and realize that Philadelphia's 8-1?
I know it's great.
How?
They're 7-1.
8-1.
They're 8-1 now.
Dude, Broncos.
Wow.
They beat the Broncos 50-20. The Broncos hadn't given up more than 23 points in a game.
What division? What conference is the Eagles in?
NFC East.
Damn it.
Yeah, they'll play.
See you in the
Vikings.
conference final, Dan. Minnesota.
I'll take you on. Let's do it.
So if
It's
you
not
want
that far to go this year. It's in Minnesota. Like Minneapolis is a Super Bowl if they make it. Just saying.
if there's a model of inconsistency, it's the NFL with their officiating. Just for instance, let's take into account what happened on Sunday, where Cincinnati was playing against Jacksonville. AJ Green absolutely lost his mind against cornerback Jalen Ramsey, decided to suplex him, grabbed him from behind, choke slammed him, and then decided, you know what else I'm going to do? With my bare hand, punch you in the helmet. Smart idea. What happens? You think, okay, AJ Green, you're out of the game. No. Jalen Ramsey also kicked out of said game. Fine, though. Go to the other game where, I can't remember who the Bucks were playing, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were playing against New Orleans Saints. And there's some chatter. Jameis Winston, the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is taken out of the game. He's chirping one of the DBs from the Saints. And
Like
they're
he's
kind of
leaving the game, or
No,
on the
he's
sidelines?
on the sidelines, and the Saints guy is just standing right at the edge of the sidelines, and they're chirping back and forth. Mike Evans, the all-star wide receiver from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, comes from behind, full-on check from behind, flies him into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sideline. I think he might have gotten a penalty, but no ejection. Where Jalen Ramsey doesn't even do anything. He gets chokeslammed and gets ejected for it.
Nice.
Talk about inconsistency.
It's called selling in the wrestling world when you take a big choke slam.
Yeah. And no
No, but it's
sandbagging.
from behind, and he's just and suplex.
Yeah. It's. I mean, maybe it's easy for us to sit here and watch 5 replays and then make a judgment, but
It is a
It's
split
also
decision,
tough.
human error.
but some of these in real time, and when you have the element of review in both sports and you don't use it properly,
It's getting to the point where I don't know what goaltender interference is, and I don't know what the hell a catch is. And I'm sorry, there's one more thing that's more crucial than the other. And the fact the NFL doesn't know what a catch is pretty scary.
What do you mean? They're not reviewing catches?
No, they don't know what a catch is. Because they're like, he
It's
has to
when
make
you
a
catch
football.
and have possession.
No, they don't know what that means anymore. They don't know what that means. They simply don't know. They're like, well, you need to make a football move. What constitutes as a football move? What constitutes as a
Does the
football
ball
move?
have to be hand making this move? Would you not
We
have
don't
to have?
know!
Wouldn't you have to have possession to do a
Yes,
football
would you
move?
think that once you catch the ball and you have it in your hands for 4 minutes, and then as you're coming to the ground, it comes out? Is that not a catch?
4 minutes?
4
no,
steps.
no.
Sorry.
It
4
juggled
steps.
back. You juggled back there
4
a
steps.
minute 32 in.
Or how about this? When you catch a ball in the end zone, and then when you're coming down, after you've already had both feet in, you catch the touchdown, and you're like, well, this is over, and you place the ball on the sideline? That's not a catch. Not a catch.
You're making this up.
Calvin Johnson, 2013. Watch it. That is not a catch.
Oh, I was watching that
But were his
live.
feet
I know what you're
both down
talking
when he
about.
dropped the ball.
Or that's
his
again.
feet were down, touched like full possession of the ball, but all he does is he catch, sustains the ground, everything's done, and then as he's like leaving, he puts the ball on the ground. Like he lost his balance just a bit, but has the ball in his hands, has it like in one hand, and he puts it on the ground, saying, "Oh, it's touchdown. It's good."
Maybe they just don't like Calvin Johnson.
No, they just don't know what a catch is, and I don't know what goaltender interference is.
You know what?
Show right now.
Do you know what term I hate when they use it? It's a hockey play. What does that mean? A cross check is a hockey play technically. Interference is
illegal
a
hockey
hockey
play.
There's
it's
a
not
lot of
legal,
scary
it's
hockey plays that Ron Hextall got away with back in the day.
What constitutes a hockey play? Like
A good, tough Canadian kid from the old Mimco roughing the guy up in the face. No,
I don't know.
couple things that I want to talk about with the Jets. And
Let's be real on the Jets for a second.
What are we being real
I don't know,
about?
Greg.
Their
Oh, okay. I was like, I said my piece.
their streak right now is pretty amazing and is great to see. There's a lot of good things, and I went to the game on Saturday, and I took away a lot of good things, took away some negatives.
We're gonna start with bad or negative.
I'm gonna make it a
That's
sandwich.
the same thing.
Gonna make it a
Mine,
sandwich.
that was visibly the worst game they played.
Yes.
Of the,
I didn't see a
You are
minute
right.
of it.
You are
I saw
right. And
the
the
highlights.
fact they were outshot so poorly, and still there was a portion of that game in the third period at the start of it where they dominated, and then they kind of receded into a shell. They're like, oh, now it's 4-2. Now we don't really need to try, because the way they look at Saturday night's game, Montreal really needed that win. Winnipeg didn't really need that win. So one team came out a little bit more hyped than the other, a little bit more jump in their step, which does happen. And it's tough to get up when you're playing against a team that's having a tough year and they're not in your conference. It's tough. Where that game's really not going to dictate much. To get a point in that game is what playoff teams do. Is when they get severely outplayed, they find a way to battle and grind to get a point. However, when you're up 4-2 in a game in a third period, playoff teams and championship teams find ways to win those games. Now, however, there are games that you're just not, bounces just aren't going to go your way, and all of a sudden it's 4-1 for you, then before you know it, it's 5-4, and you're going to lose that game, and it happens to every team. So I think to be negative towards that game is wrong, because it is one game, and the fact they bounced back the way they did against Dallas is a good sign. The other thing that I take away from that game is that could have been a 10-goal game against if Connor Hellebuyck wasn't in net. And he played outstanding. And the issue I have, because I like to be a negative Nancy, is I look at his numbers and I see unsustainability with his numbers. I'm not saying they're going to drop big time, but they're going to come back down to norm. They're going to come back down to a 925, probably 924, something in there. And that's very good still for a goaltender. A really good goalie, if he can sustain a 920 to a 925, you're going to win more games than you're going to lose with him in net. If you have a 2.5 to 2.7 goals against average, especially with that offensive core, you're going to do just fine. And I have no issues with that, and I don't see any reason why you can't sustain that. The problem is, for him to fall from a 937 down to a 920 means he's going to have some bad games. And that's where, as Dan said, it's great that you have the ability to say, oh, Connor, you've had 3 tough games, whatever it be, maybe a couple losses, maybe a couple 4 or 5 goal games, maybe they have to pull them. Well, then you can turn to Steve Mason, the veteran who's been here, knows how to play, and you can get him just to give Connor Hellebuyck a rest. Because there's going to be a point in the season where that's going to need to happen. And it's going to be good for Connor Hellebuyck. It's going to be a good building moment. And unlike previous years, he's got somebody with a decent NHL resume behind him that can come in when he's struggling. The other problem I have with this team right now is I'm still not sold on their bottom 6. I think it's great when your top 6 is performing the way they are, but what happens when they go on a cold streak? Just a little bit of one.
Their bottom 6 has been contributing though.
I know.
The first 5 or 6 games they weren't. They have been quite and I've actually been very impressed with how those guys have played. Obviously they aren't all perfect, but I think Brandon Tanev's actually been. I thought he's been lights out. He's been really good for them on a bottom 6 role.
He's doing what he needs to do, which is using his speed and hitting guys.
Yeah.
And Andrew Cupp scored a goal on Saturday, so that was nice to see. I like Andrew Cupp. I'm a big fan of his, but the thing is, is I don't look at that bottom six. I look at that bottom six and nothing scares me in that bottom six. And there were moments in the game, and I was talking about this in the Montreal game, where they have a really good shift. The line A line was out there, and line A line plays well, and then they go down to their third line. And there's just not enough intensity there to keep up sometimes and keep that momentum rolling because they play such a different style. It'd be good to have more skill in that bottom nine or in that top nine than what they have currently. I don't know what the perfect roster is. I'm not in that room every day. I don't know what guys play good with who.
I do have maybe a counterpoint to that, though. Their bottom six, yeah, you look at it, what it's been, it's on paper not great, but they did get Adam Lowry back last night, so that's a boost to their bottom six. And Matthew Perreault is still on the IR. So if you can add Perreault and Lowry to the bottom six, because I don't see how you send Kyle Connor back to the Moose now. I envision him being on kind of a line like he is now to start the year, and that's where he is, and I don't know how you send him back now. So, if you can add Perreault and Lowry to your third line, that's a way to, you haven't had those guys for this stretch really,
or
where they're playing well. So,
or thought, do you do a, just depending what you think, obviously, but do you do something in a sense of, okay, well, we have Lowry and Perreault back, healthy team. Do you now drop Ehlers down to third line? Because realistically, he's still going to get power play time, and he's still going to get a good amount of time if he's playing third line. But to at least spread out the skill so that teams have to watch who their matchups. Because if you have, let's say your second line becomes Laine, Little, Perreault, you do Lowry, Armia, and Ehlers. Now that top nine is not looking as bad. You can get some contribution from there, and you can move these guys up and down, because that's what you're seeing the successful teams do, is they've got scoring coming from everywhere. Then your fourth line can be something like Matthias, Kopp, and whoever, and Tanev, and be effective. Like, I look at a Matthias, Kopp, Tanev line, and I see fourth line. I don't see third line, energy line guys. They're guys who can get out there, they do the right things, and they get off.
Or do you maybe, when you're healthy, you keep your top six, you put Perreault in the middle on the third line, you put Lowry in the middle on the fourth line, and build around those two guys in the third and fourth line.
That's another idea.
You do that, and then you kind of spread the wingers out. However, you put Kopp and Armia with Perreault.
Yeah, could work.
Tanev and Matthias with Lowry, or Hendricks and Lemieux, whatever you want to do.
Is he hurt again?
No, he's been playing.
Okay, because what he was doing, I saw him doing it a lot in the Montreal game, was basically every time they came out with the shovels.
Yeah.
So every TV timeout, he was testing out his leg. So I don't know.
Maybe he is hurt and he's just fighting through it.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But the one thing I did notice, I didn't think Enstrom. I thought Enstrom's been very solid. Like,
okay.
I'm not like the D. I'm not really concerned about the D too much. They're still taking stupid penalties. Like, Kulikov took a couple dumb ones in the Montreal game.
They've gotten better, but yeah,
that one that Myers took, there's no need to have both your hands on your stick and to hit somebody with your stick that's going to get called.
No.
That is just bonehead.
If you don't have both hands on your stick and you make that hit, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because he probably would have gone down if he hadn't crossed
exactly.
He probably should have gone to the board. So
it's, to me, I've never understood that. Like, and I've reffed hockey, I've played hockey, I've coached hockey. I don't understand where people's mind frames are. Like, their frame of mind when they're like, yeah, this is a smart idea, I'm going to cross-check you. Like, I don't understand. It's the same when, like, somebody comes with a really hard slash. What are you thinking that's going to get called? Mm-hmm. So, and it's just, and then you have other examples of the Max Pacioretty play that how that doesn't get called is beyond me. That was just terrible.
You know what's bad when Darren Dreger flat out on Twitter basically says that was a BS call.
Yeah.
Because he usually doesn't say that kind of stuff.
No.
So.
But it's also cool, like, it sucks too, because the Jets have played so well, and I honestly do believe this is a playoff team. I'm not sure if I think they're a wild card team or if they're going to fit in there division-wise, because right now they're playing like they can. At least represent their division, like win one of the three spots, which is a good sign of at least progression for this team. But how the hell do they not get their due when it comes to any type of coverage across Canada. No one gives a shit about the Jets. And it makes no sense to me. You have a terrible team in Vancouver that has a
They're actually not
hilarious
doing that bad right
I
now.
know, but they're not
still
a good team. They're not. Who gets decent amount of coverage. You've got Edmonton, who's faltering at to no end. Then you've got Calgary, who's decent. They're not anything special. Then you've got Winnipeg, who's lighting up the NHL. They've got one of the hottest players in the league. They have one of the hottest goalies. No one cares. Then you go to Ottawa, who just acquired a guy, so understandable why a lot of news is there. Toronto's been terrible in the last half of October and early November, but it's Toronto. They're going to get the most coverage. Then you have Montreal. That's been terrible all season. And somehow Winnipeg should be the bright spot of Canada, and no one cares.
Well,
and
maybe they have
this is my Winnipeg rant, as we never get our due, and it's frustrating because someone's going to have to start noticing this team. Otherwise, they're going to come out of nowhere, and people are like, where have the Jets been? Where did the Jets come from?
You know what?
We knew all along.
I think if they're there, I think the hockey reporters, like the Bob McKenzies, the Darren Dragers, they know the Jets are good, and they talk about the Jets.
Yeah.
It's just your average local media or your American media.
And on top of that, though, but you don't see the amount of articles on it's the big name guys who I think the big name guys who've established themselves. They'll talk about Winnipeg because they know anybody will listen. But when you're trying to establish yourself, you're not going to get a lot of clicks with Winnipeg. My question is a couple years ago, you wouldn't have gotten a lot of clicks with Edmonton. Then McDavid comes. What is it going to take to get Winnipeg to become a place that's going to that's going to attract people, that's going to attract, other than them winning a cup or being
an exciting playoff run is the answer to your question.
It's probably going to take them getting into the playoffs and not squeaking in as a wild card, like getting in as a 1-2 and winning a round or two.
I was thinking about this actually today. About basically we were talking about how Toronto, even when Winnipeg seemingly like when they were good, not like Winnipeg's great, but like when Winnipeg the year they made the playoffs. I think that playoff run, I think that's what a lot of people like. A lot of people bought in on the Jets then. But then their performance in that playoffs is what lost a lot of people who tried buying in. Just because they didn't show much. Like, they showed they can play hockey, obviously. But, like, they didn't show, like, the feistiness or, like, the...
They were tired.
Because they were playing playoff hockey.
They were extremely beat up.
Like, in my mind, I just thought maybe that could be a reason why, like, people bought in and then they cooled off and then they didn't make playoffs. Or
I think people didn't cool off after the playoffs because they honestly could have won that round. They were up the first 3 games. They were leading each game going into the third period.
Yeah, but they still got
They played
swept,
well
right?
enough. Yes, but they played well enough to show that they could win. I think the fact that they had such a bad year the year after, that hurt.
And then so they
Big time.
cooled.
Yeah.
They cooled, and when they were cooling, McDavid came. So bam, people are going with Edmonton, and then Austin Matthews coming.
But
it's like, well, now they have to gain that.
Now
back.
you look at Edmonton; they're right where the Jets were 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Made the playoffs. They went farther, granted. Made the playoffs look good. Such high
Everybody
hopes for them
thought
this year, and they're the second worst team in the league right now.
Now, how sustainable is that? And
are
we done talking about the Jets? Because I wouldn't mind talking about the Oilers.
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay, so let's move on to the Oilers.
They sent down Kyler Yamamoto.
Oh, no.
I know. Big news.
I'm upset with that.
Well, World Juniors, Team USA just got a lot better.
You know what? They actually sent someone down to play in a World Junior game? Shocking.
They're going to call him up.
What's Cleo Yarvi doing right now?
He's playing on a line of Ty Ratty in Bakersfield Condor.
Yeah, where that you wouldn't want him on your team right now?
Yeah, pretty much.
So Edmonton's the second worst team in the league right now. And I think a lot of that has to do with poor management. But it also has something to do with overachieving from last year, which I don't think a lot of people caught on. And I think a lot of people bought into them early thinking that just because McDavid's McDavid, that they could carry through anything. I don't think they're as bad as they're showing, but I don't know how good this team actually is. Because depth is a big issue, and that Ryan Strome deal is looking pretty bad.
Well, and you're starting to get into the point now where it's getting to the point where it's not even like it's just a bad start. It's you need to turn this around quick.
Well, and you need to do something.
Because like Cam said, that American Thanksgiving, that's the quote-unquote, what, like 70 or 80% of the teams in the playoffs, they're there and make the playoffs?
I think it's like 88% allegedly.
They've got a big jump to get there in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So...
And I think the other issue, too, that I don't watch a ton of Edmonton games, but they don't... I've talked about depth with Winnipeg. Like, I don't fear a lot of that team. Like, sure, they have great lines with McDavid and Lucic out there, but after that, like, and Draisaitl, they have 3 guys, and then it's subpar players.
Has their goaltending been bad, or has it been fine? I haven't watched.
I haven't watched enough to say that Cam Talbot's been bad. Like, I'm sure he's been below average and below the level he can play. But at the same time, that could be bad coaching, that could be bad defense, that could be a lot of things. And I have a tough time looking at this team. Like, I'm sure they're a playoff team in reality. I'm sure they are. But they're not playing like it, and there's something that's got to change. I don't know what it is. And why you go out in the offseason to change that Jordan Eberle for Ryan Strome deal, why you make that, other than to obviously make cap room, but just boggles my mind. Your team was good.
They're
Figure
currently
out something else.
Why mess with it? Yeah, that was a weird deal.
Well, it was, but it was, I believe it was to clear cap room so they could sign Draisaitl
100%.
to way too much money and sign McDavid to an NHL lockout leading contract.
Well, to just touch on how far they have to go to playoffs, in 13 games played, they have 9 points. The second wild card spot has 16 points.
So they have 7 points to gain.
9.
Sorry, I thought you said 9
16.
Points.
My bad.
Yeah, so they have 7 points to gain. But count the number of teams between them and Nashville. So Nashville right now is sitting in that in the last wild card
5.
spot. They have to jump 5 teams.
But 9 points in 13 games for a team that
6
that
teams
I
have to
picked to
jump.
win the Stanley Cup, that a lot of people picked to at least be in the Stanley Cup, that's bad. That's awful.
I'm with Dan. I also picked McDavid to win the cup.
Like,
I think I picked Tampa, which is looking pretty
like 9 points in
they're
13
alright.
games, if you extrapolate that, that's bad. That's very
No,
bad.
that's not good, no.
So they
You're-
have to, something has to, like, I don't think they'll make a coaching change, do you?
No,
I
I don't
don't.
think that's the right move. I think bringing up guys like Tyrati and Jesse Puljujarvi, skilled guys to fill in your roles, I think that could be a good step forward because something needs to change. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's going to come from a trade. I don't think it's going to come from a coaching change.
They've only
If they change their GM. But it's going to come from somewhere.
they've scored the fewest goals in the NHL. They only have 30 goals.
Which would be surprise. And McDavid hasn't been as hot as he looked like he was going to at the start of the year. But
He's not Blake Wheeler hot, but he's like over a point a game still.
he's good. He's a great hockey player. And I'm not going to take any slights to him, but he needs other guys around him. And I don't think Milan Lucic is the greatest compliment to him. Do you know who would be a great compliment? Yeah. Jesse Puljujarvi. The same way that Kyle Connor's feeding off of Mark Scheifele and Blake Wheeler right now, maybe he could feed off the best player in the world.
I didn't like that Lucic deal when they signed it, and it was okay last year because of how the season went for them, but I don't know.
I still don't like it. I know that he's young.
Because he's got $6 million a year for, 6 years still?
Yeah.
And he's in his 30s now.
He's 29.
Is he?
He's still young. Like, I was shocked that he's under 30.
Yeah,
I thought he
but
was like 32.
If it's a bad deal at 29, him making that much money, imagine at 33, 34.
Oh, yeah. But it's Peter Chiarelli. He doesn't make great deals.
This is their bottom 6.
Okay.
Edmonton. UC Jokinen, Ryan Strome, Eero Pakarainen, Brad Malone, Mark Letestu, Zach Kassian.
Okay, so I don't mind Letestu as Cassian as bottom, like your fourth line guys, but you're telling me that Tyrati and Jesse Puljujarvi can't get in there?
Over Eero Pakarainen and Brad Malone?
Am I selling both those guys too high? Is that what it is? Am I selling both those guys too high?
Tyrati it seemed like he just was injury prone and then he went somewhere and he seems like maybe there's issues in the locker room. I doubt it. I don't know.
What's their defensive issue, looking like? Because they did lose Sekera.
This is their lineup as of today.
Okay.
Darnell Nurse, Adam Larson.
Not bad.
Clefbaum, Matt Benning.
Ugh.
Chris Russell, Eric Greiba.
Clefbaum.
That's not a bad
That's
third pairing. That's a slow third pairing.
That's a slow, bad Corsi, bad first
That's
pass.
a PK pairing right there. You know
what? You know who they should add? Roman fucking Polak. That's who they should add. You need another slow bum that should not be in the NHL on that team.
How's that working out?
I haven't had my opportunity to yell about that. I'm going to save it.
We should
For
talk
later.
about the Leafs after the Oilers. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
we'll follow up.
Yeah.
The injuries right now are Sekera and Slepyshev. Okay. Again, you're
Sekera's-
telling me
but
Jesse Puljujarvi is worse than these guys.
But arguably,
what are you doing?
But okay, so to be fair, arguably their best defenseman is hurt right now.
I don't think Sekera is their best defenseman.
Oh, okay, well they're
Dude, he's for sure like they're one of their best 3D.
Oh, he's in their top. He makes their
he's
top
top
four.
pair.
Yeah.
Like I'd
Yeah,
say he's
okay.
top pair probably. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, but that's a big hit too. But yeah, no, this team, if they don't turn around soon, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I don't know.
I think the worst thing for them to do would be to panic.
Panic.
But I kind of want to see it.
Make some phone calls, people. There's
Hey.
a scared GM on the other line, and he's worried about his job.
What's their top 6 right now?
Top
I'm
6?
curious because they
Yep.
have Nugent Hopkins. So can I just kind of go off
Yeah.
what I know? It's
Yeah.
obviously McDavid, Draisaitl, Lucic, and
No.
then okay,
Well,
but,
no, top. Yeah, sorry.
and then you have Ryan Nugent Hopkins, and I can't think of anyone else.
Okay, then you're missing Patrick Maroon.
Oh,
And-
Patrick Maroon.
How dare
Why is it?
Patrick Maroon.
He's
made a career of being third fiddle to 2 other great players.
He's no name brand Milan Lucic, okay? And then Drake Kajula, which UND Fighting Sioux. He's okay. He's formidable.
How is Jesse Puljujarvi, your 3rd overall pick from 2 years ago, not in that lineup? Is he that bad? Like, Oilers fans, if you're listening to this, is Jesse Puljujarvi that bad that he cannot slot into this lineup? Because I see opportunities. I'm not saying Patrick Maroon's a bad player, because he has made a career of being a great player, great complement player to guys like Getzlav and Perry. Something that I said Connor has been to Wheeler and Scheifele, although I think Connor's a little bit more skilled than Patrick Maroon.
A lot.
But how can Jesse Puljujarvi not be in this lineup?
This is
How
just-
is this the best lineup they can field?
This is Puljujarvi's stats currently for the Bakersfield Condors. 10 games played, 1 goal, 4 assists for
he's
5
not bad.
points,
Maybe he's not bad.
4 penalty minutes, and he's a -2.
Okay.
I know we don't look at plus minus because it's kind of a
The other
schnoz.
thing, the other
He's
thing
gonna
too
be a
is
work
it's
in progress.
AHL as well.
He's 6'4", 210.
It's the AHL. It's tougher to score in the AHL. Like, there's not a lot of point per game players in their early 20s.
Well,
It's
let's
not
do
a thing
this.
to have.
Last year, 39 games played, 12 goals, 16 assists, 28 points, 10 PIMs. That's a producing forward.
That's a guy that can give you 40 points.
I'd say so.
Sorry. Yeah, sure. Let's go to the Leafs. Unless you guys have anything else to say.
I got nothing to say about
No,
Edmonton.
I'm just baffled.
Absolutely nothing.
Baffled with Edmonton. Greg,
Oh.
tell us how the Leafs are doing.
Hold on, before you move to these real quick, I just want to say, I think I'm the only one who knows how to pronounce Drake Kajula properly. Because
Kajula?
listening, of course I
Kajula?
said it, but like
Kajula?
whoever the Rogers guy or like the Sportsnet guy is like Drake Kajula. Drake Kagala.
Can I make
He
a-
said it 4 different ways.
Speaking of announcers, I gotta say this right now, and whoever, if there's Jets fans out there, please agree with me, spread the word. Can we get Ray Ferraro on every Jets game?
Was he good?
He's done a couple this year.
Oh, by the way,
Phenomenal.
Ray Ferraro is probably the best in between
Color
benches guy
commentator guy?
in the league.
You know what?
By
Hey,
far.
Shane Knighty was pretty good, but
Ray Ferraro's best.
Ray
Ray
Ferraro-
Ferraro's the best. There is nobody on any network anywhere that is as good as him. He breaks down the game better than anyone else, and we are lucky to have him. And
Doesn't
he is
he-
so underappreciated.
He does World Juniors too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Oh yeah,
He's
he's
so
the best.
underappreciated.
He's the best. He's number one.
So what's wrong with the Leafs?
Well, it's been
what's
a
been
month
going
since
on?
you've been here.
Okay, so the Leafs have faltered, as I'm sure everybody predicted. The fall from grace has been rough. Goaltending has been bad. Defense has been terrible. Forwards haven't been scoring. But I am just baffled at management, at whoever decided 2 years ago. Like, there's somebody that's on either Lou Lamoriello's shoulder that's like, you know you can't make every right move for Toronto, otherwise they'll actually win.
They
So
might give you a statue.
you have to do something bad. And then the other, the person on the other shoulder is like, no, like, this city needs a cup. No, they don't. Sign Matt Martin for 4 years at 2.5 per. Then that thing came back. This year is like, you know what's wrong with your defense? You need a slow, old, not NHL fit player to play on that blue line. Roman Polak gets signed. I am sick and tired of the fans and the people who believe that both Matt Martin And Roman Polak deserved to be in the NHL. I'm sorry, you have 3 better players on the Marlies than Matt Martin, and you have 2 better defensemen, potentially, on the Marlies than Roman Polak, in Travis Dermott and Timothy Liljegren.
Hasn't Polak
And then you
been
also have Connor Carrick.
signed and traded like 3 times?
He was signed, traded, then signed back, and then injured, and then he got signed this offseason. The thing that they want him there for is for killing penalties and to protect the young guys, because we need rough and tough on our blue line. Sorry, watch Carolina's defense. That is the model you need to model your team after defensively. They have 6 mobile defensemen, and it showed when Carolina played Toronto how many miles ahead Carolina's defense is than Toronto's. Everyone's like, wow, trade Gardner, you can't play defense. I'd take Gardner over Polak any day of the week, because he can skate fast, and he's going to make up for his mistakes. Roman Polak looks like a flippin' pylon. I would play better defense with a bum hand.
How has Hainsey been?
I actually like Hainsey.
Honest
Hainsey has been great. He's been better than I ever saw him in Winnipeg. And I don't know what changed. I don't know if he's playing a different role or if he's just hitting his stride in his career. But there was a point there where he was like 3rd among defensemen in even strength points. I think he's 9 assists this year. Like,
not bad.
He's playing good. I have not had an issue with him. My issue lies with what they're trying to prove by saying we're going to put Matt Martin in every single lineup. We're going to put Roman Polak out when we have better players. Like, I firmly believe Connor Carrick's a stronger defenseman than Roman Polak, and I'm baffled at why Babcock and other people don't see it. Clearly, they're smarter than me. They see something I don't. I would love to know what that is. Matt Martin, the fact that Kasperi Kapanen and Josh Levo has scored a point in every game he's played in. He's only played in 5 in 2017, but he's scored in every single game. Like, has a point. Matt Martin, although has been playing fine the last 4 games, has not had, I think he had 8 points last year. Levo almost outscored him and played in 6. It's poor management, coaching wise, and it's tough to watch your favorite team not field the best lineup they can, because Josh Levo, Kasperi Kapanen, and Nikita Soshnikov, they all can slot in, and it's frustrating they're not there. I've been happy with Dominic Moore. I think it's time to sit Zach Hyman or move him down the lineup and move somebody else in that spot. Time to abandon Bozak with Marner and JVR, because that line is a disaster defensively. Why they haven't tried just once? I want to see it just once. Give me Marner, Nylander, and Matthews on a line. Just do it. Please me.
Why not?
Do it once. And then your next line could be Komarov, Bozak, and Marleau. And then you could put Kadri with JVR and Kasperi Kapanen. And then you can put Zach Hyman on the 4th line, playing with Connor Brown and Dominic Moore.
Why would they do that?
That makes sense.
But it does. Like Connor Brown's been, everyone's like, well, he scored 20 goals last year. That's going to be a flash in the pan. He's been good again this year on the 4th line. And he scored when he was bumped up to the 2nd line. It's frustrating, and I would love to know what it is that Matt Martin's done that warrants him being in every game's lineup. It doesn't make sense to me. And I have tried to look at it from an advanced stats point of view. Doesn't make sense. I've tried to look at it the eye test. Doesn't make sense. And I've blatantly sat there and watched Matt Martin highlights. They're tough to find because they don't exist.
He has highlights?
No.
You know
I think
what
he
it
had
is,
his
Rick?
first 3-point game ever a couple games ago.
You're looking at the.
He had a 3-point game? Wow.
You're forgetting about the outside
for him.
factor here. Okay. So Lou Lamoriello, getting a little old, but he had to move to Toronto. Who was there to help him build his IKEA furniture? Because he doesn't have a steady hand anymore.
No.
He called his neighbor, Matt Martin. That's
never
it.
thought
It's
about
the IKEA.
It's
IKEA. Wow.
So my question...
I'm sure Matt Martin's not that bad of a forward. Like, he's decent. If he was making $1.5 million, I wouldn't care. And if he played 35 games a year, I wouldn't care because he'd be formidable. But to think that he has... the fact that Leaf fans still think that his job on the team is to fight when the guys are getting attacked. No one goes after Nylander, Marner, or Matthews because they can't catch him. And they're well too positioned along the boards to get targeted.
I watched the Leafs game a couple weeks ago where they beat the Kings in just regulation, where Matt Martin had 2 fights with the same guy. No, 2 different guys. The Marner one, Marner's going to clear the puck and he doesn't have a stick because he lost it. Going to kick it, kicks it out, the guy hits him, but Marner's half falling as he hits him. Martin starts fighting him. Even Marner's like, what? Why are you even doing this? And then the previous fight, Dominic Moore got clean hit, but he got lit up. Martin jumps in and starts fighting, and I'm like, I thought he was supposed to protect the young guys. And even Dominic Moore was like looking at the fight like, why are you doing this? It's just, I know he's there to like protect the guard, but like you don't need that anymore.
No.
So are the Leafs okay going forward with the team they have right now? Will their season still be a success with the team they have?
Yes, but they need to make the right moves. Because in all honesty, no.
Because their goals against is the big problem, right?
No,
they're allowing a lot of goals.
It's not that. It's their inconsistencies. They were scoring a bunch at the beginning of the year, and now they're not scoring as much.
Are you worried about the number of goals they're allowing? Because they're second in goals, like a number of goals allowed.
No, I'm not. Like, Anderson has been great over the stretch, but neither is the team.
But they have scored 61 goals, which is pretty good.
The thing is they need to figure out what their plan is for the wealth of talent they have with the Marlies, because they have some great players there, and they need an immediate upgrade defensively. And they're not. It's eventually going to come with guys like Travis Dermott and Timothy Liljegren, but it's not there yet. So, who do you want as immediate upgrade? You have to look around and see who you're willing to give up to get that upgrade and where you're going to go for it. So, that's where they have to look at, would you be okay losing a guy like Mikhail Soshnikov or a guy like Kasperi Kapanen?
I know where you're going with this.
No, I don't want your Andy McDonald garbage.
On behalf of the Philadelphia Flyers, I will accept Kasperi Kapanen and a fourth for Andrew McDonald and
Cam?
half of Radko Gudas' contract.
There's a reason that Andrew McDonald is still a Flyer.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants him.
Because he has 8 great games a year, and they're like, okay, so you're going to shut down Ovi tonight. Don't let him score.
He has that many good games a year?
He only plays in 8. All of them are good.
Okay.
That's what I have to tell myself.
But I think it's time to move on to the biggest thing that happened this week, which is... one side note that I forgot to mention with the Edmonton Oilers. Why did you boo Taylor Hall? The guy wanted to play in Edmonton for the rest of his career, and they traded him for a defenseman.
That's weird that also...
And they booed him.
One of their issues right now is they need a speedy winger to play with McDavid. Yeah, fuck, I wish I knew that.
Damn.
God damn it, guys.
Only if you had the guy that is the GM that decides to trade every draft pick he has. But yes, let's move on to the Matt Duchene trade. As it was a 3-team trade.
It was. Let me read out what happened.
First of all, we should put on this was the classic you get traded halfway through the game trade.
Oh, was this Dan? You tweeted it to me? I will tweet it out.
Yes.
I thought he was kidding when
No,
he sent this video. I thought it was going to be not the video. It was a video of Matt Duchene.
Matt Duchene.
Because Blake Como was getting helped off the ice by the trainer, and Duchene just goes right off after them.
Right off.
And you're watching it, you're like...
Mid-game!
Wait a minute.
Right behind him! And I'm like, oh, maybe he forgot his stick. And then they're like, oh, it appears as though Matt Duchene is about to be dealt. And I'm like, what? You can do that? Why even dress him then?
I think he knew because his bag was like by the door in the team room.
They told him it was on a road trip, so they told him.
He got out of there pretty quick. Like he must have known like during the game, like before the game, they're like, "You're probably going to get traded during the game." They must have told him.
Well, this deal was supposed to happen the night before, and then it kind of collapsed, and then it came back together.
Right.
Apparently, the assistant GMs got the job done on this one. So I'll tell you what happened.
The big boys couldn't.
Yeah. The Ottawa Senators receive Matt Duchene, who will be wearing one of the single worst numbers in history, number 95. Yeah, hang your head in shame.
Number 9?
Bobby
Ryan.
Hey, at least Bobby Ryan has someone to play with now. Cause
he's making $7 million. He gets to pick what number he wears.
Yeah.
Okay, to the Preds, Kyle Turris. And now we found out why Joe Sakic waited so long for a deal, because he wanted everything. He wanted a piece of every sweet dessert at that table. He got Samuel Girard from the Preds, Valerie Kamenev from the also Preds. Yeah, Andrew Hammond from the Sens, Shane Bowers from the Sens, Ottawa's 2018 first and third round pick, and Nashville's 2018 second round pick.
Bad.
And because of this trade,
Didn't they also get Andrew Hammond?
I said Andrew.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
The Hamburger.
Okay.
Because Ottawa traded their first and third, they no longer. Ottawa traded. My bad. First and third round 2018. This year, because he traded their first, they don't pick Ottawa until the third round this year.
They don't have a third round pick.
My bad.
They just got rid of
They
it.
don't pick till the fourth round.
However,
But-
that pick is top 10 protected, so if Ottawa finishes in the bottom 20 in the league, or bottom 21, or bottom 10, sorry.
Yeah.
If they have a top 10 pick next year, that gets protected, and it gets sent to 2019.
Well, and you have to into. I mean, I think Ottawa's kind of in the.
Win now.
They're in the win in the next couple of years mode. They don't care about the draft right now. Like they think they've got the team that can win.
Now, my question is Matt Duchene that much better than Kyle Turris?
I think he could be in this new environment. I think he's more skilled. But Kyle Turris, the rumor was that he was going to be dealt anyways because he wanted
Too much money?
too long of a contract.
Oh.
Apparently, he was negotiating 7 and 8 year extensions with Ottawa. He signed a 6-year extension in Nashville, actually.
6. Oh yeah, I have the terms on this. 6 years, $6 million, no signing bonuses, and there's no trade clauses or anything. Nothing.
Yeah.
So just 6 or 7.
Just
A
straight
regular contract.
But-
Let's bring him back.
Ottawa is-
That boy, Poyle.
But the Sens have now come out and said that Turris, like a 6-year deal, was never offered to Ottawa.
Yeah.
So
They're a little
obviously they weren't going to agree on something by the end of the year. So, but can we just for the second just like it's a Matt Duchene trade and he goes to Ottawa, yet Nashville is the one that fleeced everybody and got Kyle Turris for basically nothing.
Well, they gave up 2 decently,
Yeah,
I would say B+ prospects in Kamenev and Girard. Is that the right name, Girard?
Yeah, Samuel Girard.
But
He was
essentially,
on
they
the
got a
lineup.
top-
He was playing.
Like
He's 19.
He's going to be their second line center. He's probably good enough to be their top line center if need be.
How dare you?
Both Kamenev and Girard can become decent play. Like, here's the thing. Here's the difference. Is they Nashville needed an immediate upgrade at center. They got it. Their top 3 centers now are pretty damn good.
Johansson, Turris, Nicky Bonino.
And then you have Calle Yarncroke, who can fit in pretty much anywhere. They are also in the win now moment where they don't need a guy like Girard or a guy like Kamenev. So I'm okay with it. I think that it could turn out that Colorado wins this deal, depending what they get with the draft picks. Because Joe Sakic, I think, did a good thing with trying to rebuild this team. And you know what? You didn't get necessarily roster guys that are going to fill in the minutes that Matt Duchene brought, but it was very clear that they had moved on. And for somebody that's been on the trade block for this long, they did pretty good. Somehow they were able to trade him and get more for him than Toronto could for Phil Kessel. I don't know how that one worked out. And they didn't have to retain any salary either. No salary retained. Still cheap.
And no one retains salary.
Do you think it was a bit of a
It's Vladislav Kamenev. My bad, guys.
not a
He's a
panic
left
move,
winger.
but a bit of we want to win now and move by Nashville, and because they're not really they're kind of faltering around the 500 mark to start the season. Do you think this was kind of we need to make sure that we're back in the final, or that we look like we're going to be back in the final this year?
Yeah, but I mean, the price they paid, totally worth it.
Yeah, it's
Like, Girard was in the
no, for
lineup.
sure.
He was in the lineup, but he was like their 7th. Not necessarily like if there's
He was
injuries.
their Freddie Gauthier last year. Or Freddie, whatever his name is. I can't think of his name.
What? Samuel Girard's a defenseman.
I know, but he was their extra guy
Oh,
that
yeah,
could
yeah.
perform in those.
Exactly.
For sure.
But totally, I'd do this deal over again for sure if I was Nashville. But yeah,
Well,
I
it's-
agree with you.
It's a good deal, but it just seems to me like they're
Freddie
kind of
Gaudreau. That's what the name was.
they're rounding out their team.
they have to reaffirm that they're no, we're still going to be a contender.
Well, but now they have their Nick Bonino. Was he really a second line center? Come on.
No, and that was my biggest issue with the team going into the season is that they lost James Neal. They didn't replace him. They lost their captain. That's a big leadership hit. And Ryan Ellis is out for most of the year.
Yeah.
So how they were going to be the same team, I was skeptical about it.
Yeah.
This is a good move for them. This helps.
And I also
But-
think the price they paid, as Cam said, totally worth it. Now you have your top 2 centers signed for the next 6 years. You also have Bonino, I believe, signed there for 3 years.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so you have your core 3 centers for the next 3 years, which is good. Somebody else can emerge in that time. There's going to be free agency. There's going to be different things that happen. So I think as a whole, this is a good move, and it's positive moving forward. And if I'm Nashville, I'm happy with getting Kyle Turris. If I'm Ottawa, I'm happy I'm getting Matt Duchene. And if I'm Colorado, I'm excited for the future because clearly they're making the right move going, like, committing to the future now.
Do you think they almost, like the Avs kind of were like, they didn't make the trade at the start of the year, and then they're actually doing a lot better than anyone. They've won, what, a third of the games they won last year already?
Yeah, they're 8-6.
Like, do you think Sakic kind of maybe went, this is nice, but we know it's not sustainable. We need to, because they're a much worse team today than they were yesterday, now than they were before the trade, obviously. But maybe they just wanted to curb this, whatever hot streak that they seem to be on.
I also don't think what they did last year was sustainable in any way, shape, or form. Like, they were just historically bad.
You should ask the Arizona Coyotes that question.
Yeah.
Because they're on pace to be a lot worse.
Yet, they're going to have probably the rookie of the year with Clayton Keller, which
Yes.
makes no sense to me.
I just want to say, Greg, I don't know why I opened this, but I did. I just have a bets column in my phone here.
Uh-oh.
Greg, episode 157, August 8th, 2017. Duchene will be traded after the season starts. Greg's getting us treats of pizza! Yay! Hell yeah, dude!
Greg has to buy one, or we have to buy him one?
No, Greg's buying it. I write who buys it and what it was.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, Pat was not a friend of mine.
No, not at all.
He likes to be
He got
picked up.
bigger now.
He likes to be picked up when he wants to be picked up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's getting big. He's putting on some bulk.
He's a fussy cat.
He's getting ready for
the reason I looked it up because he said Colorado's not looking so bad because Iowa treats a pizza when Nathan McKinnon hits 54 points and it's going to say, "You did great, Nate." On it. That's my note to myself.
happened.
Well, Greg already owes us a treats of pizza. I wrote it down. Episode 157. Dan, you made one that day too. If one liner hits 50 goals, treats a
God.
pizza. So Dan,
He's
I think
not
he's
hitting
safe.
50.
I think he's safe. I
happen.
think he's safe. Hey,
Started hot last year and he fizzled out. He's starting
So it's
more
the
this year.
the
He's
classic-
He had
Snake order
He had
this year.
lots more goals last year than he had at the beginning of this year. He had more assists this year than he had goals.
he's rounding out his game because someone decided to line a pass.
Now,
Why?
here's the
Why
other-
would you do that?
He's on pace for about 40 goals right now if he keeps it up because he
Yeah.
scores every 2 games. So
Does he? Yeah?
Yeah.
he's got 7 and 14. So
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, that's it.
So, last week I looked, and it was, I think, before you and Matt did the podcast. Sean Couturier actually had more points than Mark Scheifele. I was just
I
gonna
didn't
be like,
notice.
I was going to just throw shade, and then Mark Scheifel's like, "Oh, really?" Scores a hat-trick. It's like,
Sean Couturier is the top line for the Flyers is Giroux on the left, Voracek on the right, Couturier top line center, and Couturier is not saying shit. He's just taking those face-offs and loving life.
You do it.
He's
You
loving
do what you're
it.
told.
Why? There's some signing bonus contract. There's some contract for points in there that Couturier's staying quiet. And he's like, I can't wait till I add 40 points. I'm getting a new car. And he keeps taking those face-offs and giving a
he's
fuck.
never really been in this role before, right? So he's excited.
Not necessarily, no. He's
There
out
you
there.
go.
I was like, go on the third line. Win some face-offs. Shut that guy down. Don't worry about it.
There
Like,
you go.
that's all they're doing.
Can I also say that it was very nice to see our favorite, friend of the show, Brock Besser, score a hat-trick.
Did you know he's the first Canuck 20 or younger to record a hat trick since Trevor Linden, December 20th, 1990? What? Vancouver?
That's
They've
right.
been terrible forever. Like that's
Yeah, but how
drafting.
many rookies score hat tricks? Not
20 or younger, Dan. 20. Come on.
still though.
Come on.
But back then,
1990.
yeah.
Back then. Yeah, I was gonna say that Timo Solani got a lot of trouble scoring
not-
his first year. A lot
not-
of trouble.
You have to think,
Oh wait, he was 22 then. Ah, damn.
you
You're
do have
right.
to keep in mind, not a lot of guys get a hat trick in their first year. Not a lot of guys start, below 20.
Yeah,
Some guys
it's
do, but
tough, you know. Some
You're
guys,
starting to see it more now. I mean, not everybody can be line A and get 3 when they're 18, but hey.
and some guys can't score 4 in their first game. It's just tough.
Are you guys taking pot shots at the fly? I don't know what's happening here.
No,
You
we're just taking
shot
shots
me?
at the league.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
stating a fact that line A had 3 hat tricks.
Oh, I
last
just
year.
want to say, hey, Matt Barzell, good on you, buddy. You finally learned to pass. Not for Team Canada. 5 assists against the Avs the other night. 5.
Well, That's a lot of this.
You couldn't pass for Team Canada when they needed in the gold medal, you dick.
So I have a question for you, Cameron.
Go ahead.
What position
Okay.
does Mr. Dolan play?
So, Rasmus Dahlin?
Yes.
Defense.
Okay. Now, would you say any of these teams potentially would be intentionally falling for Dolan so that they could get a defenseman to bolster their group? Maybe because they've lost one
Bolster
recently.
the holster?
Yeah.
To catch my drift?
Exactly. Because
Gun
they've
reference.
either lost a defenseman to free agency or traded a defenseman or traded another defenseman or not drafted a defenseman.
Lay them on me. Let's hear
So in
these
26 right now,
Okay.
Montreal, because they have never had defensive talent.
I just want to say Montreal, I swear to God. I swear to God.
Montreal
If
is
they
at-
get first, or if they get a top 3 pick, and they do the mini rebuild again, that's bullshit. Fire everyone. That's not fair.
They've had defensive talent, just not for a while.
No, but they did this mini rebuild with Galchenyuk, and now it's on 4th line again. Go ahead.
Minnesota. They need the help.
They don't need that D help at all.
Buffalo.
They do need the help.
They need help wherever they
They
can
need
get it.
everything.
Why do they look so bad?
I don't know.
See, there's this fun thing called they are.
They're just bad. It just is.
Edmonton.
Yeah, they need. Well, we heard it. They need it.
Florida.
Yeah.
Did you know Florida was second last in the league? But you know what? Hey, they're still 4 points up on the worst team in the league. That has played also the most games.
Wouldn't that be neat though?
Ow!
If Florida wins,
like it hurt.
if Florida wins the first pick overall, like the draft lottery, they have to be the first. They got to be the first team to
Host.
win the draft. I don't know if they're hosting, but either way, but win the draft lottery twice and draft a defenseman both times within a span of like 5 years.
And then in 31st, dead last, is the Arizona Coyotes with a whole whopping 6 points. And you know what's happening this Saturday?
That'd be sweet. Hold on, pause before you say that.
Yeah,
They'd have the sweet Swedes together.
they would. They would.
Why would they? No, their D would still suck because Oliver Ekman-Larsson, he's a fantastic defenseman. Rasmus Dahlin is touted as the next Erik Karlsson, allegedly.
I don't know if you guys. This is Leafs news for Greg, so I want to get his.
Are we ready for this?
And I was going to say one quick thing before we...
yeah, and then we got to bounce.
Yeah.
It's just on the insider trading tonight. Apparently, Nikita Soshnikov has a clause in his contract which says he must be called up by November 14th, or else he can leave and go to the KHL.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, no, let's keep Matt Martin in the team. Yeah, let's keep Matt Martin out there when
What is
Nikita
it?
Soshnikov...
They have a week. They have a week. November 7th. They have a week for this to
call 'em up.
happen. Oh no. Oh no. They're going to lose Sosh for nothing. For nothing. Greg's upset by this.
I'm not happy.
I just saw it, so I figured
So,
I'd pass it along to you.
Quick message. I'm going to be in Vegas next week. Or this week. Friday, to be precise. To watch the Jets play the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm going to bring back some potential Christmas gifts for you guys. What would you like?
Are we doing gifts?
We do gifts every year.
Well, hold on. I
Hey.
mean, the first year there was a sham going
I bought
on
a
here.
Vegas Golden Knights bottle opener, so do not give me one of those.
Okay. If
Wait,
you want
what?
something from the official armory.
We have to set our cap though. What's
20,
our 25 bucks?
30 bucks.
Well, 30 bucks. 30 bucks is our cap.
Cap.
Canadian or American.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to a hat because I don't think a
They
shirt
had- hey.
falls in there.
They had some nice hats when I was there.
I'm not opposed to a hat.
Okay. The other thing too is you're going to New York, so there's gonna be an NHL store there.
Oh
I
yeah.
want you going to the NHL store.
Oh yeah. Oh, I already have an order going. Friend of the show is going
Wait.
to Toronto for a day. I've already
Who?
just friend of the show. Okay. You can happen. I've already put in my order for a Nylander player tee and a Matthews player tee. I
Wait.
want a white one and a blue one.
Wait. Would he, if I slipped him the old e-transfer and said
Probably for sure. Yeah.
216,
I don't know how much jerseys are.
$240.
We could talk about it after.
gets
By the
me
way.
a Nylander jersey.
So
You could. Yeah. I'm
March
sure.
Marner
I'm
jersey.
sure. You might
I'm giving
be
him
able-
$600.
Yeah.
I'm betting 3 jerseys.
Okay.
So let's
We
just
can talk about
set
it
this-
after.
And I'm also going to the Arizona Coyotes game, so I'm going back-to-back NHL games.
Wait.
Are you?
Yep.
What we
Jets?
want from you,
Back to
is
back.
a
Yep.
scouting report of the food menu.
Yes.
Not necessarily how it tastes or anything. What their specialty is.
Okay.
Because here we have the
Jet
Scheifele
Dogs.
burger.
And the
Jet Dog, Scheifele burger, plain Jane, frozen patty on a wheat bun. Mark, Come on.
How much did you pay for Coyotes tickets?
Yeah, actually, what are the numbers? One per year ticket, Vegas.
So Vegas was
Upper
170.
deck, lower deck.
170 for, I think we're upper deck.
Okay,
So-
not terrible.
It's pretty.
That's
it was
awful.
expensive. It was expensive.
170 for
I'm not saying
300s.
what I paid for my Ranger tickets. I'm
170
not saying that at
American.
all.
Okay, and then
Brutal.
Arizona Coyotes, $50. Lower bowl, but we get drink, hot dog.
Yeah, unlimited.
I think so.
Yeah, he's doing it. Oh, that's my dream.
The Thrasher
No,
dream.
sorry.
Just Thrasher dream, baby.
It's $30 and we're upper deck with unlimited everything.
Yep.
$30.
That's the
Thrasher
Thrasher
special.
dream, baby. And
I
they
think,
put
yeah.
your name on the jumbotron too. They're like, actually, you're part owner of the team now.
The
Actually.
funny thing is, though, is it'll be my third time seeing an Arizona Coyotes game in that arena with its third different name.
What? What do you mean?
Who have you seen there before?
I've seen
Phoenix?
Vancouver play against Phoenix. I've played Dallas play against Phoenix, and now we'll be seeing Winnipeg play Arizona.
So
And
how's that
it'll
your
be the third
turn?
time that their arena has changed names.
Oh, arena.
Because
What's the team
originally
name?
it was called Glendale Arena, then it went to Jobbing.com Arena,
Yeah.
and now it's Gila River. This will be the third name change.
Hey, you get to see old Winnipeg and
new
new
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg.
Yeah. Did you see what they're doing on the 14th of November, for those who don't know?
No.
Arizona is in
Yes.
Winnipeg, and they're doing the Daryl Howard night. So they are raising his number to the roof
Yes.
next to the hotline.
So they're retiring number 10, both teams.
He's not. They're not retiring it.
No, they just did what they did
They're
last year.
honoring it.
Retire
They're
numbers.
honoring it.
Come
no,
on.
because
Why?
they have to wait for Blake Wheeler. And that'll
Is
be
he the
first
first
retire-
one?
He's the first one.
Come on.
It's him, Buff. It's him or Buff. And then after that, Mark Scheifele, Neil Ehlers, and
I was really banking on Chris Thorburn. Whatever.
see my personal
Swerver.
one would be Brian Little, but he's just not good enough to get his number retired. He's a good player, great player, but he'll never get his number retired.
All right. Any closing notes
Probably
here?
agree with that.
No, I
I
don't have
want to
anything
see if
to
I
say.
got anything.
I don't think so. Well, Greg gets to see 2 Jets games in person this week.
Yeah, I do.
Two. Greg, you have to send us home. Or my send homes are awful. I don't
Are
like
they?
them. They're
Okay.
bad. They're
Well,
not good.
Thanks a lot for listening. If you enjoyed the show, check us out on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be through Google Play. And check out Last Minute Podcast. You can take us on the go that way. Check us out on Twitter if you have any questions at Last Minute PC or via email, Last Minute Podcast or lastminutepc@gmail.com. Or third alternative, you can leave a little comment on the YouTube bar. And if you're wondering what our YouTube channel is, Last Minute Podcast. You can find us there. We have 2 grown men fighting as our profile pic.
It's Thorburn and Chara.
I just have to say, I love how that when Greg starts to do the wrap up, he stands up, grabs his jacket, puts his jacket on. He's like, "I'm ready to go. Let's get out of here."
I've got things to do. I've got to pack for Vegas.
When do you leave?
Thursday at 2.
What's the weirdest
Flying
item you're going to
direct, or
bring
you
to Vegas?
flying?
No, I fly to Calgary,
Yeah.
have a 2.5-hour layover,
That's what we did.
and then Calgary there.
Vancouver on the way back.
No, fly to Calgary, have 7-hour layover in Calgary. So I'm going to be watching some NFL football because it's Sunday, and I'm going to be watching some CFL football, and then I'm going to watch the hometown hockey, and then fly home. And be home and go back to work on Sunday.
Gonna watch the Bombers hopefully win.
Hopefully win. I pray to God. Oh my God.
We'll see.
I pray to God so much.
That's all I got. I'm going to leave. I'm not watching NFL. I hate it.
You're not watching the Riders lose? Oh, okay.
I don't care if the Riders.
captain, though.
I don't care if the Riders lose or win. All I care is that the Bombers lose, so I get a free hat because I made a bet with someone saying the Bombers were going to win the Grey Cup, and that said person gave me the field.
It's the same
And this
guy-
was made when the
same
Bombers
guy that
only-
gave him the field with the Rookie of the Year challenge.
Yeah,
Does he ever learn?
no, and he's the best person ever. I'll never ever say no.
Hey, you
to
know
a
what? I
bet
hope
with
he's
him.
right. I hope the Bombers do win the Grey Cup, but
I hope
I
he's
will
right,
be
too.
glad to buy him the champs hat, but the chances aren't looking good.
No, is Matt Nichols playing?
he's gonna play.
Okay, doesn't matter. We're going now. Good eve.